Yeah, there's a lot of trials I missed.
Oh shit, here we go again.
So this one is actually one of the hardest trials in the game. I'm not joking. You're given a small amount of time for every object you destroy. I wanted to do a take of this where I did not use a particular restart from checkpoint exploit, but I couldn't manage it, so I ended up having to use it. It resets all the physics objects.
Oh!
I did. It's almost possible to do that. I couldn't manage it. This was with my old controller. Maybe I could have managed it with the new one, but that's a big maybe. And it does give you a small amount of time for every object you destroy, but it's still extremely tight timing. I still can't find a video of anyone doing this without using the restart from checkpoint exploit.
Yeah, the speedrun trials seem to have almost unfairly imposed time limits on them.
Well, there's one coming up later that I think is pretty fair, but this one is just ridiculous. Oh yeah, I should probably take this time while there's some downtime. I've been meaning to bring this up, but I keep forgetting. The role of Zobek was written for Ian McKellen, but he had a scheduling conflict. He couldn't do it, and suggested Patrick Stewart as a reasonable alternative.
They're kind of weirdly bros like that.
Yeah. All right, so this one with all rocks. You have to catch his blade 4 consecutive times, and that means not attacking in the middle at all. So you're basically at the whim of his AI. You can at least somersault over him, which is nice. And if you mistime a right trigger press even once, it resets the timer. It resets the counter.
Ah.
So yeah, this took a lot of practice. There goes Olrox, or excuse me, Elite Vamp A.
Well done, sir.
Yeah, this is the one where you have to defeat the skeleton warriors without breaking their shields. I just used Light Flash. This one we've already seen.
Pachinko.
Yeah, it's the Bob Barker machine. We're done. All right, so this is the one that's interesting. The one I mentioned before, where you can after activating the Tesla coil, you can only damage Porky with the Tesla coil. So we are essentially breaking script by manipulating the AI.
Oh.
You have to make sure that the AI stays in place. The best way I was able to do that is by manipulating it so it always does a lunge attack. So you stay right here, and then it'll do a lunge attack, and then you can jump forward. I kind of missed there, but it's basically you just got to make sure that it lunges, and then dash forward, and then use the Tesla coil.
Kind of an interesting one.
Yeah, this one is awful.
Ooh. Yeah, I think you mentioned this one, the Deadly Toys one.
Yeah, this is... I mean, destroying the 10 Deadly Toys is only half of it. The other half is surviving the rest of the fight. Because you end up pretty low on magic, and you're basically like, you know, if you're only half decent at this game like I am, you're usually at half health. So I had at least 2 or 3 attempts that died, having already destroyed all of the toys before grabbing one, and then I died while trying to fight them normally. And you can't use the grab on any of them before destroying the 10. You have to be fighting all 3 at once throughout the whole trial.
Yeah, some of the stuff that they come up with here is just not great.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. And meanwhile, you got trials like this, which are just so trivial it doesn't even matter. What's the point?
Just throwing daggers, yeah.
Like here, I can think of a trial right now that's more interesting. Use the grab to throw a gremlin into another gremlin. There. That's already more interesting and more difficult to do than this.
And then you still have to finish the level.
Alright, so the clock tower, there's one major shortcut that you can do with the double jump. That skips about a third of the level. And then the rest of it is pretty straightforward. I think I might have left in a failed take here, but it doesn't matter. Thankfully, it still saves checkpoints, and when you save a checkpoint, it will save whatever time you had when you fail. So I was at the 421, which is when I hit that last checkpoint.
Excellent. Ooh.
Yeah, this one took a while.
Yeah, the clock tower didn't look easy to me without a timer.
Yeah, this one I got on my third attempt. This particular puzzle here, I was just a little more patient with it. And then on the second Porky, I just used Ultimate Light.
Ah, yeah, because you have all the skills unlocked now.
Yep. Yeah, so even with repeatedly failing the second electricity puzzle, I still completed the level with a good minute to spare because of that large shortcut from the beginning.
Yeah.
So the All Rocks fight, that was Bronner, that was before. This is All Rocks. This one's actually really tough. You have to keep a full combo meter going for a full minute. And with All Rocks, it's especially difficult because he has so many attacks that are unblockable. The best way I could figure it out is to use Holy Water, which will stagger him, and to use it at specific times. And Holy Water will usually reset the countdown timer for the combo meter.
Gotcha. I gotta admit, you're making this one look easy.
It was not easy at all. This took a while.
How many takes?
I think about 20 or 30.
Oof.
Yeah, and this was on normal. The guide that I was using, and I just barely scraped out 60 seconds. The guide that I was using had I was played on Infernal, and I think he managed about 2 minutes. I don't know why I left in so much footage here. There's going to be some blatant editing mistakes. I don't care. I've already deleted all my footage. It's done. This LP is done.
Last video, ladies and gentlemen. Let Claudia feed.
So there's a couple of interesting ways to do this. You can try to just get the AI to run into the path, but that doesn't really work most of the time. You can alternatively just sort of get lucky like that, where I just happen to get like 4 or 5 of them in a row. The other trick is to use fairies.
Oh! Splat.
And the other one is to use holy water.
So really anything that stun locks them.
Yeah, anything with stun locks works. There are also some other vampires that spawn during her second phase if you miss some.
Oof.
And I was also wrong about Headless Burrowers. They do die to Dark Crystal. That's the only thing that kills them that doesn't require the QT finisher. But everything else does.
So 10 without getting grabbed.
Yeah. Yeah, basically just maintaining your distance.
I think it's funny you can see the health bar while they're under the ground.
Yeah. So this one's really bad. So you would think scaring the crows means only doing the puzzle or using the minimum number of puzzle moves 13 times. But they do mean disturbing the crows 13 times. That includes using a heavy attack around the crows, counts as scaring them. Using items such as holy water scares them. And that also includes the any of the larger or heavy finishing moves with the Mandragoras.
Huh. Yeah, that's a little restrictive.
So yeah, you not only have to do the puzzle perfectly, you also basically just have to play perfectly. Thankfully, the crows cannot be disturbed during these during the Scarecrow boss fights.
Two, one, titty demon, and you threw it.
Yep, nightmare solved.
But then there's this nightmare.
Yes. So, I would take the opportunity here to... I originally, when we were in Discord private message, I shared a video with you where there is essentially a way to glitch through this while going entirely out of bounds.
Yes.
My original plan for this Let's Play was to slowly introduce glitches. But I just ran out of time and patience to learn some of the glitches. Instead, I have compiled a playlist of all of the major glitch hunting finds that there have been throughout the 10 or so years of this game's history of glitch finding. I have made a separate playlist for that. The link is in the description. There have been many people who have contributed over the years, including Akion, Findlestick, Satvara, Turbodog2702. I'm probably forgetting some names off the top of my head because I forgot to include a copy of my notes, which is on my other computer. But the playlist includes, just basic glitch finds, discoveries, speedrunning skips and tricks, as well as a couple of speedruns as well, including both New Game and New Game Plus. It is definitely worth checking out because this game can be broken just as much as any other action game out there. Again, link in the description, definitely worth checking out. There is, hours upon hours of glitching footage. It's really cool.
There is some pretty amazing stuff in there.
Yeah, like if you're into seeing glitches of games like God of War, etc., this game can be broken with the rest of them. Like there's, just scratching the surface, this game has an infinite jump that can be used with items like holy water. And it's really cool. This game went with New Game Plus and all items can be completed in just over an hour. And even when doing this on a fresh new game, it can be done in about an hour and 40 minutes.
It's still the fresh hell of the music box.
I thought I could talk long enough about the glitches to cover up the hell of the music box, but it's still going. It's still going, Roy. Help me. It's still going.
It's the last time you have to see it. It's the last time you have to see it. It's the last time you have to see it.
Help me.
It's okay. It's okay.
Help me.
It's all right.
Help me.
It wouldn't be so bad if you didn't have to wait on the music shifting.
Yeah. Meanwhile, we've got an entirely pointless trial here. It's so stupid. Like, okay, look, there's some mist right over here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we're just step inside. All right, there we go. That's the trial. We can finish the rest of the level now. So I didn't really get into this with Pan, but if you have a separate magic activated during his fight, and he attacks you, he will regain health. I didn't really get a chance to show it off during the main fight. So basically, this trial is, don't let that happen.
Pan fight's still a pretty good fight.
Oh yeah, it's a great fight.
I do believe you whooped that ass.
Almost.
Almost.
Yeah, you can see it there that I allowed him to regain some health because he had shadow magic activated and I had light magic activated, and as a result, he regained some of his health back. So thankfully, 10-3 this one is right at the end of a level. Basically, have to kill 20 zombies in a single air combo. This one's pretty easy. Just use the Shoryuken and then hold Y. This
Beautiful.
This one's another time waster. You just basically have to wait around until the Gravedigger spawns 15 creeping corpses. Personally, if I were making this, I would, if you were going to do a time wasting one based on his phases, I would do something like, perfect parrying the, that prehensile mouth attack he has.
Throw 15 corpses at the Gravedigger.
I mean, if the creepy corpses had a throwing attack, certainly I would do that. But yeah, I mean, it got to the point where I actually had to wait, and deliberately not initiate the QTE, just so that I had more creepy corpses to kill. And speaking of time wasting stuff, there's more Reapers here. This one can actually be fairly difficult. Because, again, these are not DLC Reapers, these are mainline Reapers. So they can kill you in one hit. Thankfully, they are also vulnerable to the Dark Crystal.
Titty Demon to the rescue again.
Although, at one point, I did encounter a very amusing glitch at one point. I can't remember if I actually showed it off in this video or not. I'm going to go forward and assume that I didn't. I must not have. I'll talk about it here. And I must have deleted my footage. I thought I showed it off here, but at some point, when I was jumping over a chasm, one of those chasms that had slow motion, it activated the slow motion. But apparently there's a separate trigger for deactivating it, because I didn't trigger it, and then I spent most of the rest of the level in slow motion.
Huh.
Which was a very surreal experience. And it didn't go away until I activated another slow motion area.
Okay, game's broke.
Yeah, it's a glitch that I have not seen documented in Akion's glitch guide, which I have also linked in the description. I knew I was missing something from my notes. Yeah, that's another thing that's going to be in the description. There's so much glitching stuff for this game, as well as to a lesser extent Lords of Shadow 2, just because that game is structured very differently. But anyway, this one is also very tightly timed. Not as bad as the other ones, because I was able to finish this with about 20 seconds to spare, but that was after a lot of practice. So you will probably end up finishing it with significantly less time. This one's very straightforward, as you could just spam with Ultimate Light and Shadow. And also the rule about not being hit with an opposite attack of color attack, it only applies to Satan himself, and not to the color pods that he spawns on the ground.
Oh, interesting.
So there's a little bit of leeway that he has. So as long as you avoid any of the attacks from his staff, you still have that little bit of leeway. Like right here, I get attacked constantly and still pass the trial, which is good because I suck at that part.
And it still rolls the credits after you beat Satan.
Well, you can skip them.
Ah.
Like 6 minutes without speeding up, so it's a good thing. Anyway, here are some extras. This is about the unlockable vampire war game. I put text here because I knew that I would never remember, so I'm going to take this opportunity to take a water break, as I knew I would never remember this. See?
Oh, so you can summon zombies anywhere.
I never liked that piece anyway. Impressed.
All right, next up, here's some footage of some more footage of Lords of Shadow on Xbox 360. So this is where you can find that notorious "Cake is a Lie" scroll. This is back where the fairies rescued us in Chapter 3.1. Yep.
The long path for a joke, folks.
Anything for a Portal reference in 2010, right? So, yeah, the frame rate on Xbox 360, in gameplay it's not bad, but in cutscenes, it could dip pretty low.
I have come to fulfill the prophecy. You and the other Lords of Shadow are protecting...
It's really noticeable. Like, I'm zooming in, but it's really noticeable. It's really noticeable, like, with lip syncing.
Dictate your petty mortal terms to me.
But, I mean, my god, he has split ends on the 360.
Yeah. So, here's another interesting thing about how the game loads cutscenes. So this happens on PC as well. It takes a couple of frames to load cutscenes and gameplay. So it uses motion blur to hide the priority geometry and to load Gabriel in, and then it uses another frame of blur to load in the high quality textures, and then another frame to hide in the rest of the HUD elements, which I think is really interesting. Usually it takes only 1 or 2 frames for a game to load in all of its elements between cutscene and gameplay, but it takes this game 4, which is a lot of frames at 30 FPS.
Yeah, and it makes sense on the 360 because I've seen that do some really, really abysmal texture pop-in.
Anyway, here's the console exclusive unlockable that I've been talking about. So back in 2010, the most recent Metal Gear Solid game was Metal Gear Solid 4. So Gabriel has the solid eye and bandana and the mustache of Old Snake from MGS4.
Oh my god, that's beautiful.
Has barricaded himself inside and filled the building with deadly traps to deter visitors.
So in this run, I'm also playing with cheats. There aren't really any special cheats per se. There's just no damage and then get all the unlockables. But you'll notice in the corner there's a little sprite of Simon Belmont, who's copying all of our moves. And he will follow everything you're doing.
Oh, that's adorable.
Which I think it's worth playing with cheats just for that.
You cannot activate the cheats and speedrun this. The game watermarks itself.
yeah, basically. And that's the cheat watermark. And there are text references to the Old Snake costume in the PC version, but it was taken out. Because this was like 2013, 2014, and this was right around the time that Konami was starting to get really angry with Hideo Kojima. I can understand them taking out the MGS1 reference because, there was the whole dispute about plagiarism with the old Metal Gear Solid theme. Like, even by 2010 with Peace Walker, they weren't using that theme anymore. But the Old Snake costume, that screams of pettiness.
Little bit, yeah. I mean... Okay, overall, amazing game.
Yeah, it's good.
And now that we've reached the end of it, and we're rolling into, I'll say Mirror of Fate.
Yeah, Lords of Shadow, Mirror of Fate. Where this is it's an interquel, happens about 50 years after the end of this game. Not the modern stuff. After the end of like 1074.
Okay. Yeah, no, not London.
That's Lords of Shadow 2.
And I am looking forward to that, but what I'm looking forward to even more is being able to go back to the forum and start uncovering those spoiler tags.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
Because there's a lot of spoiler tags in there, and now I can actually go and look at them all.
Yeah. So next up, we're gonna be let's playing Lords of Shadow, Mirror of Fate, and we're gonna have a special guest joining us because it's gonna take more than just the two of us to get through that game.